Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm just waiting a little bit more, few minutes to make sure everyone's joining. Just want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. If, let us know if not, that's not the case, and that you can see my presentation slide.
And can everyone hear me okay as well? Yep, perfect.
Hi, Kerry. Can see your hand up, so hopefully you're all good and can hear us. I'll probably wait one more minute before I start talking. Okay, I'll start the first few slides and then I'm hoping there'll be few more people joining as we go. And do let us know if there's any technical difficulties from when you're listening to me. Would love to hear. We have Nat standby just to help us through this. Okay, I would say good morning to our Australian customers and good afternoon to our New Zealand customers, and I hope we picked a good time with your feedback so that accommodates all different time zones that we work on. So just what I wanted to let you know is thank you for joining us in such a short notice. It's few days, we had after we sent through the invitation, and I truly appreciate you being here with us. And just wanted to make sure that we have an opportunity to come together and just appreciate you joining and continuing the partnership with us, Trimble, and now BuildingPoint. Let's go to my next slide. So the agenda is to go through the recent changes. There are quite a few changes happened. And the first part is BuildingPoint Australia, the Trimble team moving to BuildingPoint Australia, the professional services, sales and support and marketing. And also there are little changes of the Jobpac release, how the release notes and the normal Andrew Tucker's webinar that he used to do is a bit different. It's not a webinar this time. It is a video. So I'll go through all of that. And also just a few updates, and that we have Dimensions Australia coming up in 2 weeks time and would love to see you guys there. So just thought it'll be a great opportunity to go through the changes and have a way to introduce Andrew Farley, who's our general manager for BuildingPoint, who's the leader for us that joined from Trimble to BuildingPoint. And thank you, Andrew, for joining us in such a short notice and supporting our comment to say, hey, let's have a webinar next week, and achieving that and coming here. So I'm going to go into the next slide, and Andrew, it will be a great, just introduce yourself and I'll go into the next slide.
No problems. Thanks, Shami. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for taking the time to join us today when Shami proposed this. just last week. I definitely wanted to jump on board. There has been quite a bit of communication sent out via email and from EDMs from Trimble and ourselves, but there's a total understanding that some people wouldn't have got that information. It wouldn't have been passed down the line, or for one reason or another, that information hasn't obviously disseminated through your business to you as well. So what I wanted to do, and Shami, once again, thanks for the invite, is I wanted to come on here and explain a little bit about the transition that's happened over the last month or so, and explain to you a little bit, first of all, about who the Herger Group is and who BuildingPoint is. So you have a rough understanding about how Trimble has functioned mainly in the ANZ region over the past 30 years or so, and why this transition or this change of strategy that was decided by Trimble would be moved on. So who are we? The Herger Group, we are actually a large group of companies, but we are the trusted distributing partner for Trimble products across buildings, civil engineering, mining, geospatial, and agriculture businesses. So we look after every product except the Viewpoint products, which are in the past. So that was done directly by Trimble in country. So the last piece, obviously, to the puzzle of the indirect sales strategy by Trimble was Viewpoint, and it was decided by Trimble for a change of go-to-market strategy. So I'll go through later on what those changes mean if you haven't seen that information yet. But as I said, I'll explain the Herger Group. The Herger Group's been around for a very, very long time. As you can see from the slide, it actually started off making clocks and watches a very, very long time ago. So measuring time, they went from measuring time into measuring time and distance, and then from time and distance into the geospatial world, traditional surveying, which Trimble obviously started the business, Charlie Trimble. And then they ventured out into civil construction, building, ag, and everything from there. So we've been a trusted dealer from Trimble for over 30 years now, you can see, since 1992. And as mentioned before too, as the sole distributor in ANZ. We have over 400 staff, definitely over 15 different locations around the country that I'll go into. And we look after sales, support, servicing, and training for all those Trimble products across Australia and New Zealand. Thanks. So as I mentioned before, there's different brands. So some of you might definitely recognise some of these brands. And I know because around, I can definitely say over 50% of the customer base with Viewpoint was already a customer of the Herger Group under other brands. So people would recognise SciTech, UPG as other brands, as other parts of their business. So Altera and UPG are our same traditional surveying businesses. They look after GNSS, mobile mapping, 3D laser scanning. They have all the traditional surveying products under there. Altera is just our name for it in New Zealand. So for our customers online now from New Zealand, you'd recognise the brand Altera more than UPG. But here in Australia, UPG is a very, very well-known brand. On the construction and engineering side is where BuildingPoint fits in. So SciTech, our big brother, they look after all the earth moving and civil construction products. They specialise mainly in machine control. So any of those road projects or infrastructure projects that you drive past every day in your car and you see those excavators, scrapers, dozers, the majority of those are driven by Trimble earthworks and machine control. So a lot of the current customers and the majority of the projects are run and controlled by our SciTech business. BuildingPoint, who we look after things in the vertical build space, which is very simply, and occasionally across horizontal build as well. So we have brands from Trimble like Tekla, SketchUp that some might be familiar with, Trimble Connect, and we also look after the building's hardware suite of products as well. So we're really happy to have obviously the Jobpac and Vista customers, as well as a few other products within the Viewpoint suite on board with us, so to create that more connected environment across the building's portfolio. Thanks. I'll briefly just touch on a couple of other brands that people might be familiar with. Information Alignment is our mining business. It's a group of software products that looks after everything from pit to port. So the moment an excavator or a bucket touches the earth until that resource is shipped on a train or a boat, we track and follow that with our software across the whole entire resources industry. Civil Pro, some of you are definitely Civil Pro customers as well. We definitely know that from obviously looking across the portfolio before this transition happened. It is definitely more of a project management software for QA, QC, lot-based management construction. So if anyone needs any more further information about that, we can definitely provide that. And finally, One Ag, that was previously called Vantage in Australia, is Trimble's farming technology brand. So they look after all the ag machinery and all the solutions for our farming community or our agriculture community. Thanks. As I mentioned earlier, we're over 400 strong here in Australia and New Zealand. Main offices in Brisbane. We have 2 locations here, the head office at Bowen Hills, and we also have a distributing logistics facility out at Banyo. 2 offices in Sydney, offices in Melbourne, all the major states, and we actually have the regional areas covered with our One Ag offices as well. So we're very fortunate to have them. And across New Zealand, major offices in Auckland and down in Christchurch as well. Thanks. So just a little bit of snapshot for those who haven't seen the information yet. The transition actually happened around the 7th of July. So that was a Monday. That's when the official transfer go-to-market strategy from Trimble was transferred across to us. Some key points are contracts. They're still currently with Trimble, so nothing changes for you on that side of things. For additional purchases and consulting services, they now come via BuildingPoint. So the good thing is, and it's mentioned down there earlier, is that 23 out of the 24 staff that was with Viewpoint did move across to us at BuildingPoint. So for the regular contacts, they're all in place at the moment to make those transactions. So there's options for you, obviously, for moving your contracts across to BuildingPoint when there's a new purchase in place or your renewal time comes up. So the team will be in touch with you during those periods to explain a little bit more how that process will work. As mentioned earlier, billing still continues via Trimble until any of those triggers are made or discussions with our BuildingPoint team on moving your account across to us. Most importantly, obviously, sales and support. I mentioned the number of staff that have come across to us. The account managers, sellers are still your key contacts on that side. There's just some key distinctions now with our support. So tier 1 and 2 support cases stay with us, BuildingPoint. And then tier 3 cases, so software issues and so forth, they still remain with Trimble as the product owner. So with Charlie and the team, we're working through systems to make sure that that information is passed through accurately and that we're getting feedback at that tier 3 level the best possible. Also, just Trimble's resources over in India across support and services still remain in place to assist us with the support and implementation as well. Thanks. So next steps, obviously, we're very, very excited. We're definitely looking to reinvest in this. All we want to do is, and the last comment is probably the key for us in future items, is we're committed to making, a better customer experience and service for the customer. Already we've started hiring. We've successfully hired a new person in New Zealand recently, so they're being onboarded currently. We're being very busy in the SEEK market. We've had active ads out for account managers, support and professional services. I've been very busy with the managers of sales and obviously the support and professional services, interviewing away over the last couple of weeks since the 7th. We're in final stages of those interviews too, so we hope to be onboarding some more people soon. The team is also too building out a help centre. We want to make sure there's a centralised environment that's localised for you, the customer, to make sure you can get all the information you need at your hands. So I'll just just ask for a little bit of patience while we build that out. We do have a designated team here building that out, and we'll obviously let you know further information as that comes online. And we are committed to, I know a lot of you work with our consulting partners and our implementation partners, so we're committed to keeping them on board as well and working with them to make sure that you're getting the best experience possible. Future items that we're working on, obviously, we want to do everything as fast as we can, but there's only so many hours in a day. So we are working on establishing better internal and external processes and systems for you, the customer, as well as us, to have a better experience. And also, too, down the line, we're definitely looking at bringing new connected products to the market as well that will enhance your experience with Jobpac and Vista as well. We've got B2W and estimating software coming down the line, and FY26 we have Project Site and the App Exchange, which we're very excited about coming forward. And Jamie and I will talk a little bit about Dimensions later on, where you'll be able to see a lot more information around those products and what's coming down the line and how that whole that Trimble connected construction piece is going to work. So I'll just finish by obviously saying we're definitely here to invest. Obviously, we have committed to the customers through our SciTech UPG businesses and BuildingPoint. So we're looking forward to having the additional customers with us and being able to tell that full Trimble story about how that works. Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew. I think I'm going to take over from here, and thank you so much for that. I think we all needed some of that. Just going to go into the next slide. And my little way of saying it is, I feel like we are bringing back some of the old school Jobpac charm back. So looking forward to that. So I'm going to go through the Jobpac, what we need to look out for when it comes to Jobpac and the release and what's next. So as first thing is, I would like you to mention that the release notes and the video that Andrew Tucker, the product manager, did is out. I'm just going to bring in my little screen here, just overruling, just making sure it's coming through. So as in Jobpac World, in What's New, you can directly access from What's New, click onto it. It will go into the blog post, wrong place, the blog post, and then you can access the release notes through here, and then the release video through there. So the release notes is this one, the first one on the top, and of course all the release notes from past will be there too. Read through the release notes. There's good things coming, and just going to open it up. There's lots of things that Andrew Tucker goes and explains to you, and what to look out for in the next release. So the release will be going out on Saturday night. So Jobpac will be out for maintenance Saturday night, and the release will be up officially on the Sunday. Now, there are a few things I want to and therefore look out for. This is from our side plus your side. So next, let's see what's coming out from next Monday after the release onwards, and what we need to look out for. So release notes are out. Please go through, read the normal process of the release. There'll be all the new features at the top of the release, and further down there will be fixes and issues, and the fixes will be at the bottom of the release notes. And then the webinar, sorry, not the webinar, the video, instead of the webinar, the video now, Andrew goes through, it's about 30 minutes, go through and explains all of the new features and functions, which is great. One of the things I want to add on to is that, now, I would like you to log into, if you haven't done this already, I would like you to log into the Jobpac Viewpoint portal. So we are still using the Viewpoint portal, so there's no change to that. If you haven't done so, please go into the system status, subscribe to updates. So when you go through subscribing, put your address, and then you will get lots of Viewpoint products. So make sure to only tick for Jobpac, and if you're using Fieldview, VFB, only the products that you want to subscribe to, and then it will therefore send you an email. I've got this one from a few weeks ago about similar to this. You will receive an email about maintenance or any special patch releases, anything that Trimble will let us know, sometimes last minute changes to releases and patch notices. That's the best way that they communicate to all of us. So please watch out for these. That's the most important thing. If you haven't subscribed, please do, so you will get the information. For example, on Saturday, if the release takes a bit longer than usual, they will keep us up to date on those releases and when it's up and running. So that's the first thing. Make sure you do that. And then there will be a few things I'm personally looking forward to is the Trimble ID coming out, something that we wanted for a while, and it's happening in the next half of the year as per the release. What Andrew goes and explains on that it'll be supported, and there'll be a lot of information for us to be self-managed, you to be self-managed in this case. I just wanted to show you what it will look like, possibly. This is just what I want you to look out for, is that if you go into Jobpac Help Portal, so for example, if you click on the question mark button, it'll go into Viewpoint Help. And then in the Help area, let me go click onto that. You will see the tiles come through. The most recent updates we received was from Jobpac Mobile. So if you click onto it, so what you'll see is the main difference is prior to this, we used to have the old school Word docs converted to PDF style user guide. Versus now, with the new features coming out, what we are expecting to see is something a bit more like this, where you can go through, walk through each different configuration, going in and configuring it a bit more of a web-based support and user guide functions here. So this is, I'm just going through it. That's what we are expecting to see. And just FYI, when Andrew goes through, this is what we are expecting to see. And I want you to watch out for that too. Going back to my slide. So yeah, went through that. So just wanted to go through few highlights from the release notes. So Trimble Trimble ID, looking forward to it. The eyeball function that you can see the password that you typed on, but most of the users will be using single sign-on, and therefore that may not be related to you. So let me go back further down. What I am looking forward to is especially the PTA API with subcontract draft claims. So do reach out to us. So this is what I want to go through next to say, from Monday onwards, business as usual. We would like you to log in to your support portal. If there's anything that is something different or you have an issue with the new release functions, please log a support ticket as usual. So use your normal Trimble support portal, log in, log the ticket, and then as Andrew mentioned before, we will be looking at level 1 and level 2 support within BuildingPoint. Then if there is issue related, we will be tagging your tickets to those issues and we will be logging the issue with Trimble, and then we'll manage those issues and resolutions and keep you up to date with what Trimble's doing in the issue. So there's no change to that process. It'll be more, we'll endeavor more to update what the issue is in the issues description. And the last item wanted to mention is now we are more so looking into the suggestion box features that we have available in Jobpac and Jobpac Mobile. So if you are starting to look at Jobpac Mobile, there is a suggestion box there to include any additional features and functions, because this will give us from BuildingPoint side to collate review suggestions, and then also work with Trimble product team, Andrew Tucker, and look at what the customers require the most. Your warts are important, so they do count. So we would like you to and encourage you to go into the Jobpac suggestion box as well as mobile suggestion box and vote for them. So just FYI, if you haven't seen that before from Jobpac World, if you log into Jobpac, there is the suggestion box button here. You go in, it'll go into the suggestion. You have to log in with your company email address. You have to add a password. It's different to your support portal, and do look at all the suggestions that's there, vote for them if you like them. And also what we've noticed is if the votes are from different customers and different trades and companies, it has a more weight than just the count. The variety of, multitude of you votes for this suggestion, it has more weight. So we do encourage you to do that. And yeah, that's just an update. It's mostly support, how you log tickets, and issues that'll be the same at the moment, no change. So watch out for them on Monday onwards, and reach out to us if there's anything. And yeah, that's a little bit on that. And we will be opening up for question answers after this, and we'll go through. If there's any questions, Jobpac is happy to answer them as we go through. Okay, next page. Okay, Andrew, you can jump in as well. Dimensions. So just a little introduction from my side is last few years working with Trimble, I had the opportunity to see what Trimble does. We came from Jobpac viewpoint, very ERP. I'm an accountant myself, so I always looked at software, construction software from an accounting point of view. But it changed with Trimble. With all different meetings, I had to sit and understand like geospatial and the SketchUp, Tekla, all the other items Trimble do. So it's great to see and what they have on offer. And Trimble had their user conference called Dimension in LA, Vegas, and they actually show expo style plus actual on-site product. They actually display the product and they show how things work, how things may work in the future. So, and it's great to see for the first time they're bringing this into Asia Pacific region, and they're starting with in Brisbane. So that's what's happening. That's like a little introduction to what Dimensions is. And just going to the next slide, I do want to say it's very much a existing customer experience. This is not for new customers. It's more we want other customers to see what is out there, how things connect in the Trimble world. So just saying, few of us are going there doing some presentations. Lots of people from Asia Pacific, that's the aim, coming into Brisbane, going through Dimension and looking at what Trimble has to offer, happening in Star Casino in Brisbane, or from the 27th to 28th August. And then you would have received some emails and information from our Nat, Simona marketing team on what's happening, why you should attend. And Andrew, anything else to add?
Oh, I've just been fortunate enough to attend Dimensions in the past in Las Vegas over the last 5 years or so. It's a fantastic event that obviously showcases not just the architectural engineering and construction areas, but also geospatial and all the other areas of the business. With Jobpac customers and Vista customers on the ERP, we definitely have sessions for you. Shami mentioned that she'll be doing a session, but there's obviously others doing sessions. We mentioned earlier about new products coming down the line. It's always a great opportunity for Trimble to start talking about the products that are coming, so that you can see what the future looks like, and it's around that connected piece. Rob Painter, who's the CEO of Trimble, he has been talking about it for the last few years now, and it's about a connected environment for everyone to work, and that includes the office. So how do we get that information from the field to the office and back again, getting the necessary information for yourselves and others so that everyone can have one true source of information. So I definitely encourage as many of you as possible to come along to Dimensions. Not only, as Jamie mentioned, it's a great location to have it. There's an offsite at Ceremony Wines, which is about half an hour away from Brisbane. There'll be buses going back and forth there where you can see all the on-site equipment being in use and how that technology and that data is transferred from those machines and from site back to the office as well. So not only is there information for yourselves around the ERP system, what else is coming for Office, there's also a chance to learn a lot more about how and where that information comes from that arrives back in the office and back to you in spreadsheets or through software that you currently have. So it's going to be a fantastic couple of days. As Shami mentioned, it's the first time that Trimble have decided to do this outside of the US North American region. So we're very much looking forward to it, and we can't wait to see you all there. And Nat, our marketing, would not be happy if I didn't mention that we're doing a golden ticket competition as well. So please log online, have a look. Right why you should get the lucky golden ticket. So I think this was inspired by Willy Wonka, but the golden ticket. So if one lucky, obviously customer writes in a good reason why they should get the lucky ticket, then they'll be invited. So we look forward to seeing you all there. It's going to be a fantastic event.
Sounds good. Yeah, and we have a few customers joining as well as speakers, so looking forward to all that. Yeah, so thank you. And just the last slide, just on contact details. These are BuildingPoint contact details. I also wanted to mention your whole team from Trimble. So my, other information, so our phone numbers are the same. So call us, same phone numbers, and with email addresses, if you send emails to our Trimble email address, you will receive a bounce back saying use the BuildingPoint email address. And also the new email address is the same prefix as Trimble, our first name _ last name. It used to be at trimble.com. Now, instead of that, it's going to be at buildingpoint.com.au. So exactly same phone numbers, just that last suffix changed in that email, but otherwise same team, similar structure. And Andrew, I just wanted to mention thank you, Charlie, mainly Charlie's Ash's team, the same teams, they're supported, we can feel it. So thank you very much for that, and thank you customers for joining us today. I'm going to open up the session to question answers, and I will try my best to answer as many as I can when it comes to Jobpac questions. And if Andrew, you can jump in and we can see what we have, we can answer. So let me see. And also, before I forget, we will send you a little survey, because we wanted to understand what we need to do next and how we should do next. So do if you are leaving, make sure to go through the survey and submit the survey, would be really appreciated. Okay, let me see.
Looks like we've done a really good job and explained everything. So there's no questions.
So yes, so there was a question about whether this will be recorded and will be out there for people who didn't join. Yes, and Nat said yes, it's recorded. So I'm not sure exactly how that will be posted, but more to come on that regards. And Nat, let us know if that's the case. So I'm just going to go through. Yeah, Nat will. So you will receive an email about the webinar and the link on how to receive the recording. Any questions? I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I'm in the question and answer section.
Chami, I can see. So if you click on the Q&A, there's a few questions in there.
Yeah, got that. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, I've got a question here about, in the future, will Jobpac have an option to enroll users by job rather than doing individually? So I think you are meaning about role-based users. I know, again, I can't speak for Andrew Tucker. That'll be very much a product question. So I know about role-based user configuration. There's a lot of that coming, especially with Trimble ID. So let's see. We'll see. We'll get that answered and move it to Trimble to answer it officially. But yeah, I think Trimble ID with role-based is something that we are looking out for. What are 1 and 2 support cases versus 3? So, Andrew, do you want to go? I'm happy to.
Yeah,
I know 1 and
definitely.
2.
Level 3, obviously product related, so product issues. So we are defining the fine line between 2 and 3, but obviously 1 and 2 is around, simple issues that need repairing from our side that we can do. But when it comes to the actual software and making adjustments and changes to the software, then obviously that still remains with Trimble. So we'll continue to define what 1 and 2 looks like, and especially that difference between 2 and 3. And once we've got that clearly defined, obviously we'll share that with you. But 1 and 2 support is obviously your common issues with, maybe the product not being able to sign in, or all those sort of minor issues. But when it comes to the actual software, that's where it's defined into level 3.
Perfect. And Imperial Accounts, I think it's Patrina. I'm not sure your question, so if you can retype it, that'll be amazing. So those are the questions at the moment, Nat. If not, let me know if I'm not looking at it properly.
No, I think you got them all.
Okay, amazing. We'll wait for a little bit. Happy to answer any questions you have. Anything, services side. There's another question, I think, in another chat. Okay, there's another question. Just wondering if Jobpac has a roadmap on the future of its BI solution. So Andrew Tucker at the moment is working on the roadmap, and he is actually doing an event on at Dimensions about the roadmap and all the items. With the BI solution and the roadmap, again, let's see. We'll definitely pass that question on, and yeah. So at the moment, we are going through the standard SAP BI solution, but future of that, let's see what the roadmap has to say. So, but he's definitely presenting at Dimensions. Is Jobpac now fully compliant with project trust reporting per QBCC requirements? There are a few, from my understanding, there are a few the RTA reports and few reports that are still outstanding. But in this release, what we saw was the draft claim coming out as an API function, because so most of our larger builders are using pay apps and an early trade, some of you. So with that, because it's an API related interface, we didn't have the option to recognize the draft claim. Only when the claim was approved, it used to come into the PTA reporting. So with the draft claim option, now it gives pay apps and early trade options to push the draft claim to be compliant with the new PTA requirements. Again, we need to trial it, test it. It's new API, needs to be tested. Pay apps and early trade have to build their solution and push it to Jobpac, and there'll be a lot of that coming. But in Jobpac side, if you are a Jobpac customer, the draft claim feature that's with API is not valid, because within Jobpac you can always link it to draft claim from 2 releases ago. So there's no change since that. So that's what we've seen from the roadmap. So whatever other than that draft claim part from the API, there are no change since the last few releases when it comes to that. Okay. Do you know if there has been any update with the bank rec and NZ banks? Okay. So this is with professional services experience. So at the moment with new implementations, we are definitely trialing bank feeds as a first round because there's a lot of great functions in the bank feeds, especially with receipting. I really like the receipting function from the bank feeds. It's quite time. It's a time saver. And we have been very successful with dealing with CBA. And I know there are a few of our consultants already worked and with Trimble development team on ANZ and Westpac Bank. So far they are working. But if you have any specific questions, specifically because the question is from ANZ, do shoot a support ticket, and happy to review that, because again, like we did just 3 weeks ago, we had a successful run with NZ, but that's one customer. Let's definitely have a look into that. Okay. I have a question, Andrew. It could be something that you may want to jump in and answer to. What type of service turnarounds can be expected for response to questions, particularly during an implementation?
Well, definitely when an implementation is happening, there's some designated resources involved in that implementation. So obviously there's key people plus the program manager involved in that. And Charlie, who looks after that team, is there. So there's definitely a process or a system in place currently with that, with the person or persons looking after the implementation. And then there's definitely an escalation point through to the program manager, then up to Charlie through that. Response times, I don't have exact figures on that, but if you're working during a current implementation, the current implementation or professional services person that's involved in that should be replying to those questions in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and reach out to us. Because with implementation consultants, including myself, we can be on site, so there will be limited access sometimes. So do reach out, and normally we do endeavour to arrange another resource as backup to just cover when that main consultant's away. And do reach out to customer success manager, mainly Simona, and your project managers, who are Rajesh and Ramas, for project management. And if that fails, of course, customer success, and we can escalate to Charlie. So that process from before should remain the same at the moment. No change. Okay. Anmol. I've got a direct question from Anmol. I think Northern Transportables, if I'm not mistaken. We are printing invoices. We only have 20 lines per entry. Okay, I have a feeling, Anmol, we can look into forms on accounts receivable invoices. Again, I'm assuming when you say invoices. If you kindly can log a ticket with a screenshot of where how the form looks like, we'll have a look, because there's no exact limit on how many lines in Jobpac you can enter in accounts receivable. It's more to do with, I'm assuming it's more to do with the form not printing and cutting out the last line. So let us know. Let's have a look. Happy to look into that for sure. Okay, I'm going to go further up. So there's a question about, do you have expected noticeable improvement in support resolution quality and turnaround times with the new transition, and when?
Yeah, that's no problem. I'll take that one. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, we're definitely investing in more human resources, and we are currently looking at the current systems and processes that we have in place and how we can improve that. We understand that we need to improve that across the business if we want to have better customer satisfaction. So all I can say is we're definitely investing in more human resources at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, and having a look at the best way we can streamline that those processes and systems.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. So Jane, Bill Corp, what Jobpac training resources are available from BuildingPoint? Are these consultants available to utilize?
Yes, once again, obviously we're hiring in that space so that we've got more human resources. We've obviously committed to our consulting partners as well. We're working through that. We'd like to increase that as well. We'd like as many hands on deck as possible. So we will definitely be committed to providing more training resources moving forward. We're just working through that process now in the next couple of months.
Yep, definitely. There's a few roles up there for grabs, so we're definitely looking forward to having a few people to do that. And Jane, of course, we still have, as Andrew mentioned, our partners. The knowledge has not left yet, so which is great. And other part from Trimble side too. It's lovely to see the new, instead of the PDF method, the more informative web-based user guides coming in. That's always great, and we can see that it is kept up to date when it's done from the website. So that's great.
Yeah, Shami, that's a very good
side.
point too. Yeah. Like as we mentioned earlier too, we are investing a lot of time in creating a more dynamic help center, more localized. So that will take us a little bit of time, but we hope that will also help with the customer satisfaction levels as well.
Okay, I'm just going to make sure there's new post. It's coming at the top, so apologies. I just realized it goes to the top, not the bottom. Where do we find these user guides? Which website? So Kelly, I'm just going to probably share my screen. Let me see if my Jobpac's still up there. So at the moment, these are our previous Jobpac and then Viewpoint Trimble user guide. So if you log into Jobpac, you log into help here. You should see the tiles here with different modules. And if you go into, let's say, finance accounting, you should see, in this case, accounts payable. You can click through, and each of these is a module guide. And you can see it's different where it's a PDF style user guide. So that's where you can find all the user guides. And this is different to your training guide. So when you did your implementation, you would have received a bit more summarized version, more click-oriented training guide. That's different. This is more so of a user guide. It tries to go and explain to you each field, what it means, what you can do. Yeah, that's a bit different to the web-based user guide. So lots of the standard user guides are there since it's last updated. Some of them are being up to date, and when the new releases released features, they will be in the release notes. So that'll be the other part. There'll be release notes at the very beginning. Jobpac release notes. You'll find additional new feature releases in the release notes, very similar to what I just clicked, like this, and you can find these in here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And has been there a solution now for subcontractor claim that contains mix of GST to 10% and tax-free GST-free supplies? Definitely, Mike. Definitely happy to show you. There is, so this is where you will need to log a ticket. You will need a consulting assistant there. We need to look at historical data. where you are at now, look at the claims to date, parameter changes. We, of course, definitely need to test these in the test environments. And then, we need to coordinate with you and your teams to bring them into live, because that will change. And you need to understand that going forward, or train people to make sure you update the right GSD in the right subcontract line. So yes, can do it. And also, if you are using pay apps, for example, third party, we need to understand how that will impact. They can handle it. Yes, we are using that, but definitely we need to test it. So yeah, you can log a ticket. We can definitely look into it. It'll be a more of a consulting task. Okay, let me see. I have to go up. I will stay in another 5 minutes, and after that, please do send through your question answers. We'll try to reply back separately. There's a question about, you mentioned different user guides were provided during implementation. Where can we get our hands on these training guides? So this is a bit more customized. During implementation, we go through design documents, understand your business, we configure your environment in a certain way. Therefore, the training guides will look different to each customer. And then we normally hand over those training guides during implementation for each customer to look after. But definitely, if you reach out again at a support ticket, can definitely forward you a like a generic user guide. But saying that, things may have changed. We currently do more so what I call best practice style implementations. If you were implemented more than 5 years ago, it'll be great to have a little health check, go through what the changes are, and then we can then help you through what that user training guide will look like. So not a simple answer. There is a standard one, but I don't always think that is the right way to go. I can also mention Trimble. We did some pre-recorded best practice training sessions that's online. It is in the Trimble training portal. So again, you can definitely reach out to it and watch those videos. So I think that's quite nice. It's online. You can walk through yourself, and it's free to use. There's no charge for that. Please reach out. We can forward you the Trimble Academy links as well when it comes to training and going through the training, not just the Word documents. Is there a payroll manual for New Zealand? I will check. I think so. I will check out. That's a good question. Haven't seen it. I haven't done a New Zealand implementation. It's been a while. Pip looks after it, so I will definitely have a look, and yeah, we'll see what we can offer you there. Hi, Chev, from Winslow. Will the new user guide come across into the contextual help? Again, not sure. That's more of a Jobpac. The contextual help is a Jobpac field and area. So that will be something that we need to get help from Andrew Tucker from the product point of view. But most of the up-to-date help guides will be in the normal user portal. And also, don't want to forget, we have a lot of knowledge-based articles. So if you're logging into Jobpac support portal, when you add your question, it tries to bring out as many knowledge-based articles as it can. Do read through that. There's a lot of good knowledge there. For example, if you want to close a project, that information will be there, what you need to look out for if you want to close a project. So do reach out to that. Okay. I'm gonna hold it there. Any other questions, do add on. Happy to answer it, and it's amazing. Thank you for staying. This has been absolutely amazing. Thanks for staying with us all this time. And yeah, so we'll see what next to come, and we'll try to keep you up to date. The first thing would be to reach out to you with when there is the next release and what happens in the next release. We'll try to endeavor to keep you up to date on more of a timely manner, not just 2 days to go. We'll try to up-to-date earlier than that, and watch out for any emails from Nat, Simona, and the BuildingPoint team coming to you, because that'll be the best way to communicate. And of course, on what's new, that's very much Trimble. On what's new will be what they can update. So watch out for normal what's new in Jobpac, as well as our emails that you'll receive from the BuildingPoint team. And also, of course, subscribe to the Trimble maintenance updates for especially Jobpac, so that will keep you up to date on what's happening with the releases and patch releases or anything to do with Jobpac, or when Jobpac's not operating, that'll be the best place to look out for. And Andrew, thank you very much. Nat, thank you very much for doing this last minute request, because I think we needed to do that and continue supporting our customers and, and supporting the building industry in Australia and New Zealand. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Until next time.
Thank you, everyone.